9. Time now to suckle on the teat of tech. We do it with Paul Brislen this morning. Morning, Paul.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Good.
First up this morning, let's talk about copyright.
Yep.
You wrote a blog post that managed to get the Twitter sphere, social media, a buzz this week.
They were a bit of a chatter about it, weren't they?
Yeah, you came out very bold. What was it about?
Well, this is about the latest announcement in our steady round of copyright announcements that keep coming out. Is all around how much the rights holders will have to pay to send out an infringement notice to the ISPs to say, oi, that nasty old fellow Wammo appears to be stealing our copyright material. The rights holders had said, well, each notice should cost us $1, maybe $2. The ISPs said, well, to process all that kind of thing is going to cost us more like $40 or $50.
Yeah.
And the government has come out at $25 and said that's how much each letter will cost.
It's a happy medium.
It is. It's nicely sitting in the middle there. It's a tricky business because this isn't just a case of passing on the letter that the rights holders send. The ISPs have certain legal obligations under the new right to make sure that they're harassing the right customer.
Right.
So they are going to view this in quite a serious manner. They will investigate the IP logs. They'll have a look and see just to make sure who was logged on under that address at a certain time, whether there was any sort of traffic along these lines. Some of the ISPs are talking about what they call deep packet inspection, which means looking inside the packets of data as they transit to determine whether or not what you're doing is dodgy or not.
Do they need
that
to?
Is unpleasant.
Or do they need to do that under this legislation?
Well, I don't think they need to, but it gives them the surety to make sure that they are in fact doing the right thing. Because their problem is if they send a letter to the wrong person, it's a legal letter. It has certain legal repercussions.
Right.
And so they've got to be very, very clear that they've followed all the steps and can prove they've followed all the steps.
I guess let's be clear. So a lot of people might be expecting that the ISPs are monitoring what you're doing on your internet line, but that is not the case, is it?
No. For the most part, there's just too much traffic going on, and they don't care.
Yeah. So the ISP doesn't care what you do with your connection, as long as it's not something outrageous.
Or in breach of their terms and conditions, like voice over IP on certain networks.
Yeah. Or having a child pornography server at home or something like that.
That's right.
It is the copyright holder, therefore, let's be honest, the Movie Association of America, whatever they call themselves, then the Record Association as well.
Right.
They are the ones who are looking for IP addresses.
Who are actively monitoring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they are the ones who notify the ISPs that there is an IP address that ISP owns.
That's right.
That has been downloading something.
Yeah. And that the ISP needs to do something. Now, these letters have been coming out of America for many years now. They've been spamming various different telcos in New Zealand over and over again, saying you need to make this person cease and desist and all this kind of stuff. There was one on Geek Zone just this week from an American company that seems to assume that the recipient is in America.
CBS.
It says, you can look at all of this material on our website at cbs.com, and of course you can't because we're in New Zealand.
Because we're in New Zealand.
They won't allow you to.
And they monitored some NCIS.
That's right.
Torrents.
Yes. And determined that this particular IP address had been allowing people to upload from their website, from their server.
But that's quite key here. So this wasn't a movie; this was a television show.
Right.
So that's a warning out there right now that TV is being monitored.
That's right. And these outfits, in a lot of respects, especially in America, a lot of the movie studios are TV studios as well. You know, they're all interrelated.
Right.
So their legal teams will be having a field day with this kind of thing. And going out there and actively monitoring, particularly the Bittorrent sites. That is their bread and butter. So they will be out there having a look.
So let's look at the technical side of things. So most people, when they're downloading TV shows and whatnot, it is via Bittorrent, isn't it?
It is. Mostly everything. There used to be a number of sites that allowed you to download directly from an FTP server or simply stream it over a website. They all seem to have packed up and gone home at the moment, and I haven't seen one of those around for quite some time. It's all done on the torrent.
So BitTorrent, by nature, is inherently a public way of sharing files.
That's right.
When you download a torrent, you're also uploading that torrent as well.
That's right.
And your IP address is visible for everyone to see. And if you've got the right snooping software, you can find that out quite easily.
And you can figure out who is uploading your copyright material and send them a nasty letter.
So, should the message go out there to New Zealanders that you should no longer be using Bittorrent as a way to get the files that you normally get?
Well, there are plenty of legitimate uses of Bittorrent, and I would hate to see something that's this useful and this able to move data around the place efficiently, because Bittorrent is incredibly efficient. I'd hate to see all of that go to waste. So, unfortunately, you're now looking at the realm of, well, maybe I secure my IP address or spoof that somehow. You're getting into some fairly dodgy territory. Or, as you say, just stay off Bittorrent entirely and look for your material elsewhere. I see the BBC, for example, is finally waking up to the fact that people will pay for content. So they're about to launch the iPlayer worldwide. And they've just announced that some of the old BBC Doctor Who shows will be available on Facebook worldwide. So that's a good start. But, you're sort of dabbling your toe in the water, and everybody else is trying to jump in head first, yahooing as they go.
We're still not going to get the latest TV shows at the same time as they see them in the UK, though, are we?
No. And it seems likely that we're stuck, at least until some of the contracts expire, with this asinine model of first rights go to some kind of broadcaster, and then they, typically a pay TV broadcaster internationally, and then it goes on to free-to-air. From there, it devolves into, well, we've got to sell the DVDs, and we've just launched all this Blu-ray stuff, so crikey, we better get our money back out of that. And, by the way, we've also got a zone-based approach to the world, so New Zealand, you're in Zone 4, you'll get it when we're good and ready, and everybody, and it goes on and on and on like this for years to come, and it's just stupid.
Yeah.
Just get out of the way and let us buy the product off you. And that's what, internationally, things like Netflix, Hulu, these are services that allow you to do that. I'll give you some money, and you give me access to the content when I want to watch it, and that's that.
But in the meantime, we don't have those services.
We don't.
Now, and I know we're entering sort of a grey territory here.
Yes.
And I'm certainly not going to tell you exactly where to get the latest Doctor Who episode.
No.
But I think the message should be put out there to New Zealanders. Do not use Bittorrent, because Bittorrent is the only way that you are going to get served a letter in New Zealand. I'm pretty confident about that. Bittorrent and maybe services like LimeWire and whatnot. Yeah. There are other ways to get this content. If you don't know how to get it, ask a friend, get onto Facebook, start talking about it. People will tell you where you can get the stuff. I'm not going to tell you over the airwaves right now, but you can do it.
And that's what these guys in copyright law land just simply don't understand, is that the Internet is very carefully designed to treat all of this with disdain. And the technology itself allows you to find myriad ways of downloading anything you want, of getting around firewalls, of bypassing the Great Firewall of China, for instance. The Chinese government is employing thousands of people to sit in rooms and monitor chat sessions that are going on, and yet people are still chatting, and they're still getting around all of this kind of thing. Through using all kinds of techniques, even as simple as putting spaces between letters so that it's still readable, but the machines don't pick it up.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no way to block traffic from traveling around the Internet, and that's basically what these guys want to do. They want to control it. It's just not going to happen.
So what do you say, Paul? Will there be a campaign perhaps to make fools of these guys, the fools of the industry, just to say, stop using Bittorrent, ask your friends about another source?
Well, I can well imagine that there will be plenty of people out there who know how to get hold of this kind of stuff, who will be now happily sharing. And when we've got people, older people outside the industry, people who are just wanting to watch television, asking for help so that they can watch television or movies.
Yeah.
That the tide has turned, and it's not just a bunch of geeks sitting in their mother's basements anymore. It's actually mainstream, and then you've really got a problem. This is not a problem about copyright. It's a problem about an old business model that just doesn't work anymore. So
Indeed.
Change the business model.
All right. Well, head along to the Two Ands blog. Paul Brislen often blogging on this kind of stuff up there. And you can join the conversation there. Also on Twitter as well, twitter.com/Paul Brislen. Thanks, Paul.
Thanks. Anytime.